Hi, it's me again. So this is going to be my first interim reflection for my CAS project, which is Bone Run. I gave a bit of a description of it in the actual CAS experience document on ManageBack, but I'll just give a brief overview again of what it is in this reflection. Um, so essentially, what it is we're trying to do is we are organizing a run that is going to be gathering proceeds. So the runners are going to be sponsored, and then all the proceeds gained from that and things like concessions and things like that will be given to the IOF or International Osteoporosis Foundation. Um, yeah, so very brief overview. We had our first meeting with Mr. Ross this Monday. It's Wednesday today, and he told us that the main things he told us was he saw a lot of inconsistencies in things like our plan, why we're doing it. For example, why are we doing osteoporosis? Why aren't we doing something to help elderly people to find better solutions um, for the pollution in Bangkok? Why aren't we doing just anything else really? So I think something that we're definitely gonna have to think about is why are we doing this? What's the point? Why specifically osteoporosis? And that's just one of the many things we talked about. So Simon, Alan, Ian, and me, we're kind of talking about how we're going to answer that question like really explicitly. So why osteoporosis and not anything else? But in our last meeting, I was also assigned the role of event organizer. So that essentially means that I'll be organizing the event, organizing a commentator during the event just to liven things up a bit, get basically event approval, maybe get, we also talked about this a bit, maybe get a representative from the IOF, International Osteoporosis Foundation, to come in during the event to like just supervise it and to be part of it in general. Um, so I'm also going to be thinking about things like, you know, is it going to be accessible in terms of is everybody going to know about the event and things like that? But that's more Ian's department because he's like to do with advertising. Is it going to do with the internal external community? Is it just going to be to do with NIST, which is probable considering that I think we have two main ideas because we thought about doing it in the morning, but nobody would really show up in the morning. So then we thought about after school, but the problem is there was like almost no availability after school during after school times. So during lunch was the best option. So we're probably going to do it during lunch, maybe during April-ish, a bit, hopefully before the Songkran break. But we're in February, so February, March, April. So that gives us about a month and a half, I would say, to completely organize and to carry this event out. So it is probably going to be tight. No, it's probably going to be very tight. Um, so I basically took on the role of event organizer. Today I asked DT because she did a blood drive, and I wasn't really sure where to start with things like getting an event approved and looking at times like available times of when we could do it during lunch or available days, sorry, or dates. So I asked the DT who is pretty she knows her stuff basically she did blood drive. So I asked her who I go to get event approval, and she said that I needed to go to the NIST service website, get the approval form, and fill it out with all the necessary information, and then get called into a meeting, and then where I just give extra details. So I think right now what we need to focus on is what is the run going to look like, what things do we have to have. It's like the sponsorship forms for the run. So sorry, what the run is going to look like. So what the runners are actually going to have to do the sponsorship form because we have to make it relatively simple. We don't want to make just like a normal run because there's already tons of those. So Alan and Simon are going to be working on designing the run and making it more interesting. So for example, each lap the runners do would be more and more difficult. For example, the first lap is with nothing, the second lap is with a 2 kilo medicine ball, third lap is with a 5 kilo medicine ball, and on and on and on. But the problem with that is if we get, for example, more than 20 runners that apply, that won't be not everyone will be able to do that. And also the fact that since it will be during lunch, the food is nobody wants to run after they eat. But I think that's just going to be up to runners to decide. If they sign up for the run, they just won't eat during lunch. Um, But yeah, so before I sign, I do the actual event approval. We're probably gonna meet because we have another meeting with Mr. Ross next Monday where we have to give him a status update. So I have to have something to give him. So hopefully, our group will be able to meet hopefully tomorrow because Friday is during uh, conferences, so I don't think that that'll be possible. But we have to talk about we need to be able to bring something to the table next week. So we're going to talk about if the plans Simon and Alan have come up with for the actual run. Well, we really want to be there because we want to maximize the amount of proceeds we can actually get. So concessions is definitely a way to go, not just with the run as well, because everybody wants to buy a cookie, everybody wants to buy a cupcake or shaved ice. But what we were looking at is, for example, what foods promote better bone health, and we still need to look into that, but that's definitely something that, and we sell those foods basically. So it would the concessions based around helping osteoporosis would actually add to that. So yeah, so those are just my thoughts and just the planning on how it's going so far. Um, the timeline is going to be very tight, and since I'm really new to this organizational role, I think I'm gonna have a bit of trouble. Just mainly because I've never really organized an event this like this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have a bit of trouble. But apart from that, it's really it. So this has been me with my first cast project Interim Reflection. The date is Wednesday, February the 6th, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.